Welcome to the Calm Mom Podcast, the show for ambitious women ready to get off the hot mess express. I know you've got a lot going on. You work so hard, you're raising an incredible family, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a certified master life coach, attorney, wife, and mom. And years ago, I was right where you are. I was running a busy law practice while raising a family, and I was on the fast track to burnout. I thought I just needed to be more organized or have better routines, but it was learning how to heal and regulate my nervous system that expanded my capacity to gracefully hold more of this big, beautiful life. You too are worthy of an extraordinary life in and beyond motherhood. Learning to be a calm, anchoring presence in your home and at work is going to be your superpower. If you're here to do the inner work that brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos, I'm here to join you on that journey. Each time you press play, your growth continues. So let's get at it. Hey, friends. You are listening to the Calm Mom Podcast. I am Michelle Grosser, your host. Thanks for being with us today. Today, we're going to talk about 5 everyday habits that might be dysregulating your nervous system. I think it's a little bit of a call out session today because we all have habits, I think, that can cause us to be locked kind of in this stress mode more than we realize, myself included. So I promise no shame here, but I'm also not going to leave you guys hanging. We will bring awareness to these habits that dysregulate your nervous system. And then I also want to give you guys some practical handles on things that you can do instead, ways that you can kind of tweak. And I know you guys all have a lot on your plate. I get that. So I'm going to give you these small, doable action steps that really help keep your nervous system out of this perpetual fight or flight. All right. Before we jump in, if you have not yet left the show a 5-star rating or a short review, would you do me the biggest favor and do so today? Honestly, it takes about 10 seconds, but it's the best way that we can get this show in front of other people who could use these resources, right? We are in an epidemic of anxiety and overwhelm and burnout. And I know that because you listen to this show, you're aligned with me in the mission to end all of that. And getting this show in front of other women who are experiencing the same things you're experiencing is one of the best ways we can start. So if today would be the day that you would leave the show a 5-star rating and a short review, I would be forever grateful. I love you guys so much. You are the best. And I'm just so grateful that you're here listening and then spreading the knowledge and the information in this show. So thanks for partnering with me in that. Okay, let's jump into the 5 habits that are sabotaging your nervous system. Habit number 1, and I think all of us at some point can be guilty of this. But habit number 1 that sabotages your nervous system is you are packing your schedule with 0 margin and 0 downtime. Okay. This is like the classic, just overbooked days. Guys, I have been through seasons where my planner looks like a game of Tetris, right? It's like I wake up and then immediately I'm like on pace so I don't get behind, right? It's like get that workout in. Then it's like get everyone ready out of the house, then back-to-back Zoom calls, and then pick up kids' activities and come home, laundry, prep dinner, homework, pile of errands. It's like your nervous system is basically in chronic sympathetic overdrive, right? That fight or flight is activated all day long. You put the car in drive and then you just go regardless of how much gas is in the tank. Now, this is so detrimental to the state of our nervous system because the way in which your body was built, you guys, you need buffer zones. Like your brain needs moments to organize and heal and repair, right? Pockets of space, margin that lets our bodies shift out of that go, go, go mode, right? Being pumped with cortisol and adrenaline and, high productivity, hustle, all of these things. Our body needs space away from that, shifting into this calmer parasympathetic rest and digest state. So if you never allow your system moments of slowness, just a moment to exhale, a moment between tasks, right? You're actually training your body to think that urgency is like our default setting. Urgency is our normal setting, right? That's how we go about the day. There's not enough time. There's too much to do. Urgency, urgency, urgency. That will keep you in a dysregulated state. So what do we do instead? The simple fix I have for you guys here is play around with scheduling these small blocks between your tasks in your calendar. So maybe if you have a 9 a.m. meeting, right, you end it at 9:50 and you take a 10-minute nothing block between major tasks, right? And what do you do with that time? You go to the bathroom, you breathe, you make yourself a mug of tea, you rest your eyes and maybe just like soften your gaze and stare out the window for a few minutes. You don't pick up your phone, right? You don't jump to a small little micro task, because even these small pauses throughout the day, these little nothing blocks, can help your nervous system remember that it's okay to rest. It helps you grow in resilience and handling stress because your body understands, okay, this is go time. It's for 50 minutes. And then we can actually shift down into a state of rest and digest. We're going to have 10 minutes to relax, come back down to baseline stress level, and then we'll amp up for our next task, right? There's more of a flow there, an ebb and a flow, instead of just this constant like cranking out of like productivity, go, 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 so much to do all day long, okay? That urgency is detrimental to your nervous system and to your brain, and it will cause dysregulation. So give this a shot. 10-minute nothing blocks between your major tasks. And maybe start with just 2 a day, right? I'm going to put a 10-minute nothing block in my AM schedule, and I'm going to put a 10-minute nothing block in my PM schedule. And then just see what happens. Start to notice a shift, right? In your mood, in that urgency, in your anxiety, in your irritability, and watch it, right? And then allow yourself to kind of pivot and adjust as necessary. That's everyday habit number 1. Everyday habit number 2 that's dysregulating your nervous system is that you, my friends, are always rushing to get somewhere, and you feel like you're always running late, right? Raise your hand if you're like 10 minutes behind schedule all day long. I've been there, right? It's like frantic dash out the door in the morning, and it feels like a daily adrenaline sport, right? But the problem is that constant feeling of like I'm late and rushing, like hurry, get your shoes on, hurry, grab your bag, hurry out the door, hurry, get in the car, hurry, get buckled up, right? Traffic. It's like starting your days like that and then letting that urgency and that rushing and that always behind bleed into your day. What does that do? It cues to your body that we are preparing for an emergency, right? When rushing is your default, you guys, your nervous system perceives every outing, every time you have to leave the house, every time you have to get in the car, every time you have to be somewhere, school drop off, heading to work, grocery shopping, right? Your nervous system starts to perceive and catalog all of those as mini crises. And then what happens over time is that your baseline stress level just starts to creep higher. So anytime, Monday morning rolls around and you got to get out of the house again and get on with your daily routine, your nervous system is like, here we go today, another mini crisis coming. And it makes it really hard for you to shift out of fight or flight and come back down to baseline stress level. And a lot of us start our days this way, right? And then we're pumped full of cortisol and adrenaline, and we wonder why by the time 6 p.m. comes around, we're just shot, right? We have no more patience. We're feeling snappy. We're irritable. We're completely just like checked out and exhausted. And it's because our nervous system all day long has been running the cues of like, I'm late, panic, prepare for emergency, mini crisis. All right. So how do we fix this? I think a lot of this just comes down to better planning, right? Better planning. And then I think some of it is mindset work around the scarcity of urgency. So, plan your departure time. If you have to be out of the house by 6:30, plan that you have to be out of the house by 6:15 or 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, right? Adjust that departure time in your head, getting up the kids 15 minutes earlier, right? Getting breakfast prepped 15 minutes earlier. What can you do in the evening before to prepare yourself for the following morning, right? Setting an alarm on your phone that says leave at 6:15 that goes off when you really have to be out of the house at 6:30. And I think building in some of those buffers, you guys probably know where you kind of get stuck in the morning. If you're being honest with yourself, like, is it the extra snooze? Is it, you're scrolling on your phone before you jump in the shower? Is it like whatever it is, kind of working on those glitches and then building in more buffer in your mornings, especially to kind of reduce that last minute scramble, right? Because that sense of calm you'll feel when you're not racing the clock every morning is like chef's kiss for your nervous system. Okay, let's do number 3. Number 3, everyday habit that dysregulates your nervous system. This is a big one. Spending time with people who drain your energy. And I think this one's a little spicy because being around people who leave us feeling emotionally exhausted can trigger, our fawn response, right? We kind of morph into this people pleasing mode because we don't want to, heaven forbid we offend anybody, or we want to avoid conflict, or we don't want anyone to be disappointed with us. And what might this look like in the day-to-day? I don't know. It might look like forcing small talk, right? With like a really negative coworker. It might look like allowing a family member or a friend to kind of emotionally dump on you and just vent for your whole commute home from work, right? It might look like constantly saying yes to hang around with family who just doesn't respect energetic and emotional boundaries. And you feel really criticized around them, or you just leave kind of feeling exhausted and deflated, and you're not being discerning about setting boundaries around the time that you spend with these people, right? And some of you might be thinking right now, well, I have to be around these people, right? Or I have to see them, or they work right next to me. Like I can't like quit my job and go work somewhere else. And I'm going to invite you in this moment to step out of kind of that victim excuse thinking and really empower yourself, because there are always solutions, right? There are always some boundaries that you could set, some tweaks that you could make to your day to day. It's just that it's uncomfortable to do that, right? It's uncomfortable to stop someone mid-sentence and say, hey, you know what? I don't really have the bandwidth right now for all of your venting. Can we talk about this on Saturday morning when I feel more energized? Or, whatever it is. Because here's the thing, when you're constantly putting yourself in those situations and those positions, your body might be interpreting those interactions as threatening, right? Not physically, but like emotionally. And it does subconsciously send our nervous system on alert, right? We like kind of dread going into work. We see that name come up on our caller ID on our phone and we're like, ugh, but we answer it anyway. And then what happens? You end up feeling drained. You end up feeling dysregulated, because you're hyper-focused on not disappointing anyone else or not being rude or keeping the peace. And we're really catering to the needs of others at our own expense, right? So if this is landing for you, this one, and there's like people coming to mind right now who drain your energy, what's like a micro boundary you could set with them today or this week, right? Maybe you limit phone calls. Maybe you shorten hangouts. Instead of spending all the weekend with this person or, Saturday mornings with this person, you spend an hour, right? If you can't avoid them altogether, you've got to come up with ways that you can gently disengage, right? I got to jump off the call right now, but let's catch up next week. Something like that. Like, that's not rude, you guys, but that is a boundary to prevent yourself from having your energy completely depleted by these energy vampires in your life. Because you have too much going on, right? You have too many beautiful, empowering, life-giving things you're pouring your time and energy into, namely yourself and your mission and your purpose and your family and your marriage and your home, that you can't have your energy, your precious energy, being sucked by people who drain it, okay? Protecting your energy is a must for regulating your nervous system. All right. Habit number 4 that dysregulates your nervous system is that you tend to hold in your feelings, hold in your stress without healthy tools to process. Okay? I'm talking about avoiding and suppressing your emotions. You're worried about something, but you just kind of stuff it down and keep pushing through, right? Someone said something or did something that really was wrong. Like it was jacked up and it makes you so angry to think about it. But you haven't done anything with that anger, right? It's just kind of simmering under the surface. And when you think about it, you can feel yourself just getting so like, hot and bothered, but you don't do anything about it. Or you know that there's this like deep sadness that's buried within you over something that happened or didn't happen, or a disappointment or something with your children, or I don't know, maybe you've had pregnancy loss, or just these things that can cause deep pain and sadness, but you don't like quote unquote have time to deal with those emotions because they can be scary, right? You don't want to rock the boat. But here's the thing. Those emotions, they don't just go away, right? They don't just go away because we ignore them or suppress them or avoid them or deny them. That emotional energy lingers in your body. It takes up so much space, you guys. And how does it manifest? All of a sudden you have all this, tension in your jaw or your neck or your shoulders. You're having chronic headaches. You can't sleep anymore. You're irritable, right? You're waking up with this sense of dread every day. Emotions are energy. Okay. The word emotion, energy, and motion, emotion. Emotions are energy. Like think of the energetic charge of anger, for example. It can literally change the way our heart beats. It can change our body temperature. It can change our blood pressure. It can make our face red, right? Emotions are energy. And if you trap them inside and don't allow them to process and release, your body remains in a, subtle or not so subtle freeze or a heightened state of alertness. And what does that do? That leads to more stress hormones being released from your body, pumped through your system, circulating through everything in your body, and hello, dysregulation. Okay? So what do? We've got to find healthy tools to cope with stress and feelings, right? A release valve, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's journaling about the sad thing until you feel your eyes welling with tears, and then putting the pen and paper down and allowing yourself to just cry and release, right? Maybe it is screaming into a pillow. I've been there. Maybe it's wall pushes. Maybe it's, punching a pillow or your bed. Maybe it's just like stomping around and dancing like a maniac in your living room. The goal is to simply let your body move and release that pent up emotional energy rather than letting it kind of stagnate in your body. All right. And then number 5, the 5th everyday habit that dysregulates your nervous system is that you, my friend, like most of us, can get sucked into this habit of constantly checking your phone, right? Just like stuck in the dopamine trap. Our phone, we love it. We hate it. We can't put it down even though we know we want to, right? And then whenever we're bored or anxious or have like 10 minutes of downtime, we scroll through social media, we check our email, we check whatever. And this just creates those dopamine seeking loops, right? It's the cheap dopamine. And then we're always on the hunt for our next notification, the next like, the next email, the next bit of news or whatever it is, the next hit of novelty. And it wrecks our nervous system because it doesn't allow us to ever like disconnect and disengage and power down, right? We're always like looking for the next alert and the next ping and then we have to stay in this state of readiness. And over time, what happens is that we're building this pattern in our brain and our nervous system that can lead to chronic overstimulation, right? You already have a lot coming at you guys. And when we're constantly checking our phone and all of the notifications and the emails that require responses and the to-dos, it makes it genuinely feel like we cannot rest. So what do I recommend here? Man, start to set some boundaries with your phones. I know you've heard this. I know you know this, but actually put it into practice, right? Maybe you have to turn the notifications off on your phone. Start with that. Like on my phone, I get 0 notifications. I don't get text notifications. I don't get email notifications. Nothing. I check it, right? Once an hour. or on a regular schedule, but I don't get the notifications on my phone because I know that's not good for me. Designate phone-free zones, right? Or phone-free times. Maybe it's like after 6 p.m., the phone's charged in a different room, right? I am offline. I am not accessible during that time. I'm home and I'm present with my family. Or maybe it's like, I don't check my phone until I've been awake and out of bed for 30 minutes in the morning, right? I start my day before, and set the tone and regulate my nervous system and prepare myself mentally, emotionally, and physically for the day before I check my phone. Whatever it is, guys, you can start small, but these breaks give your nervous system permission to relax. And it really signals to your body like, hey, we are not on call 24/7, right? Stand down, rest. And that is just so healing for your body and for your nervous system. So these seem like little habits, you guys, but our body really responds to patterns more than isolated incidents, right? It's not like that one time that you checked your phone first thing in the morning and got an email from your boss that like something was going wrong on a project you were managing or something like that, that causes dysregulation in your nervous system chronically over time. It's not these one-time isolated incidents. It's these little patterns, right? These little habits. And if your pattern is, racing out the door in the morning, rushing from meeting to meeting, right? Ignoring your emotional needs, mindlessly scrolling to kind of give yourself a chance to escape and cope with everything going on in your life, you're convincing your nervous system that you're living in this daily like chaos. And the good news is that doing some of these small shifts, right? Consistent small changes to your daily patterns really have a massive impact on your baseline stress levels. So you don't have to start with all 5, right? It's not about being perfect. It's not about this massive overhaul. It's about starting with awareness, right? Maybe there was 1 or 2 of these that you're like, oh yeah, I'm being honest with myself and I definitely can do that as a daily pattern. I see that I do that. Where can I make a shift, right? Where can I set a boundary? Where can I be a little bit more intentional with my time? Guys, your nervous system loves routine. Your kids love routine. Your work life loves routine. So if you consistently just give yourself moments, built-in moments of rest, right? A couple new boundaries, maybe attuning to your emotions instead of avoiding them when they arise, right? The next time you notice that you're feeling angry or sad or disappointed or frustrated. Boundaries around your phone, screen time. Your nervous system will naturally chill out. You will naturally feel yourself kind of melting and relaxing and stepping into a place of ease, right? Rather than constantly pushing and striving and being busy. So, quick plan of action, right? Choose one or 2 of these 5 habits that really resonated most today. Maybe it's the phone thing. Maybe it's, taking some things off of your overstuffed schedule, maybe, and whatever it is. And then just focus on that 1 or 2 things for the next week, right? Introduce a small shift. That's it. 1 or 2. And then when you see how that little tweak really affects your mood and your energy and your overall calm, I promise you'll want more of it. And then you can like really incorporate it, embody it. And then you can kind of come back, listen to this again and tackle the next habit. Okay. All right. So if you want a deeper dive into these daily regulation tools, if you haven't yet, go ahead and download my nervous system reset guide. There's a link to it in the show notes. It's packed with these simple somatic exercises that really fit into a busy day. There's no like hour-long meditations or anything like that. But as you're kind of discovering ways that you've been sabotaging your own chill, we've all done it. The point is that now you know, right? Now you can choose differently. And that's where the real transformation starts. Also, if you would love guidance through this journey of regulating your nervous system, right? If you've been feeling dysregulated for a while and you're just done, you're like, I'm done with being irritable and edgy around my family. I'm done with being tired all the time. I feel like I'm not motivated anymore. I'm struggling at work. Work-life balance is a joke. If that's you, I just want to let you know that I'm actually opening up a few one-on-one coaching spots for the spring. So if that's something that you're interested in working with me, side by side to really help make the shifts with guidance, right? That are going to make the biggest difference for you, your nervous system, your family, your lifestyle. I would love to guide you in that, right? Let's shift your fight or flight into peace and presence. And that has such a trickle down effect, right? Guys, it'll impact your work. It'll impact your productivity. It'll impact your mood. It'll impact your relationships, your parenting, all the things. So if you're interested in that, there's also an application in the show notes for one-on-one coaching with me. Those spots do tend to fill up quickly. So if you're thinking about it, fill that out. If it seems like we're a good fit, I'll just shoot you an email. We can jump on a Zoom and talk about what it looks like. I can answer any questions you have. We can talk about next steps if it feels aligned for you. All right, my friends, thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope that some of these habits resonated and were aha moments for you, really just to help you cultivate more peace and more presence in your life. Okay. If you found today's episode helpful, would you share it with a friend? Maybe a friend who you know is always racing the clock or always has her phone in hand. We all know that person, right? Together we can build a calmer, healthier place for us to all lift one small habit shift at a time. All right. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.
If you love Mommy's Polygraphs, leave a review.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would be so awesome if you could take a moment to subscribe and rate the podcast. And if you have just a few more seconds to leave a quick review, they really help to get this podcast out to other moms like you. I read every last review, and trust me, when it's late at night or early in the morning before my kids get up and I'm working on bringing you all of this content, your reviews are what keep me going. Leaving a review is truly the best way you can thank me. And of course, DM me on Instagram. I love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to another episode. Head over to the show notes for this episode and all past episodes at michellegrosser.com, where you'll find free resources and more ways to connect with me. If you love the show, share it with a friend. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time.